my beloved brothers and sisters, I want you to remember that education is good. I do say that we should know what other nations know. I do say that we should go in their school. But I don't believe that you will get too far with your integration into school with your little children. I do say this, that I think all little black children should be put in a black school under a black teacher of their own kind. And that those little children should be first taught the knowledge of their black nation, and the knowledge of their God, and the knowledge of their religion, of their father, and the greatness of their father. And they should get this knowledge from 4 years up to around 18, 16, 18 years. Then after he's that age, then you can put him in the school of any nation. And he never will forget his own self in his time. And he will always love his people and himself. Because he has learned first the knowledge of his own kind. But putting him under foreign teachers and into their foreign civilization to his kind, to be brought up and taught by them first, then you are telling your child, running your child astray away from his own self and his kind, and is making that child to lose his love for his own people. Today, as you are an example of it yourself, up from slavery for the last 98 years, around that time, you was enslaved under the white man for 300 years, and he made you to admire him, love him, and do his bidding for those 300 years. And after he so-called freed you, you were too dumb to go for yourself, or even to ask or seek for your own kind. The slave master did you and I great wrong by not saying to our fathers after freeing them, now here, we will take our ship and take you back to your native land and people. And remember, you shall not be called by my name hereafter, because you are not my slave, and you are not one of my kind, and I'm not going to recognize you calling yourself after me. I only name you, call you after my name because you was my property. But now you are free your own self, and now go in your own people's name. Yeah. Why didn't he do that? Yeah. Good question. Also, he should have been generous enough to say, "Oh, Negro," and that's what he called him. Since you have been so loyal to me for 300 years, and you have worked and you have fought and died for me, as you know yourself, that the American so-called Negro have fought in every war that the white man has fought. He has laid down his life on the battlefield for the independency of the white man, right? His pocket, his blood, his sweat, is all the sand shown of every civilized nation of the earth, right? For what? For the independence of America. For the white man's independence. You bled and died. You sweat it, and you fell dead behind the plows of the plantation of Georgia, right? You helped lay every tie and every string of steel that the rolling stock iron is rolling over in Georgia today, right? you own at home that he didn't like, you kill him. Right? Anyone among you that he don't like, you are number one informer for it. Right? You don't like it. Right? All right, let us talk sense. Go ahead. We are here this afternoon in the great city of Atlanta, 400 years from slavery. 400 years since we were brought here and put into slavery, preaching in the very uncomfortable place, freedom, justice, and equality. Right? To a people that is supposed to have been freed 100 years. Right? All right. Why are we sitting here suffering under this heat and in such no good heart? That the fire department hurried down here the other day to tell you not to put over 800 in it. Why are we here? When right up here in one of your beautiful, educated, educational institutions, your college here, have a place up there that would seat 2,000 of us, right? We tried to rid it from you. You would not rid it to us. Why? Because you had gotten your education from your slave master. He had helped you to get your college, and his college is his own education and civilization, and that great big old enemy of fear setting up in the heart of the educator, the principal, the manager, the dean, that great big old enemy of fear of my white folks. And his many thousands of followers, and to his God and your God, the God of every life, whether it's good or bad, he's the God. He has the power over all. That enemy fear made you to tell lies. No, I don't want you in my place. Preaching Islam or telling my people the truth, because I'm afraid white folks won't like me for it. Their lives are bringing into you a clean power. They're clean internally and externally. There you have, sitting here in our Dayton Hall, Whiskey House, anything that they want to do in it. Land House, Frolic House, preaching truth, freedom, justice, and equality to you. With the God of heaven and earth behind him to do it. To save your life from the destruction of this civilization that you are now frightened to death of. That you have power to serve and dare to serve any other God other than them. Their lives have to suffer as Jesus had to suffer. In Palestine, in the midst of the Jews who thought that they were the favorites of Jehovah, who thought that they were the elect of God, and they were the wisest of all the scriptures of God and his prophets, turning down a just man, turning down a man directly from God, putting his place in the hostile, bringing him out, running him out, stripping him of the freedom and the privilege of the Pharisees and of the synagogue. Would not allow his disciples in their synagogue, but would put them out, beat them over the country, kill them, and put Jesus himself to death. Think over this thing. Then you are doing this same thing today. You said that if I had lived there, I would have been a lover of Jesus. I would have let him come in and take my own house. You today are doing the same thing that the Pharisees did to Jesus. I want to say to you again, my beloved friend, that you may drive me out from Atlanta for saying this, that Jesus prophesied of the coming of such man as I. Jesus said, I cannot tell you all the truth. He didn't attempt to teach that truth that was hidden from the people 4,000 years before him. He didn't attempt. He said, but nevertheless, remember that. Nevertheless, he will send you one. And when he comes, right, he will lead and guide you into all truth. Right? He said it is expedient that I go away. You think that going away meant to heaven. He didn't go to no heaven any more than Abraham, Moses, and Adam. He went back to the earth. The going away means he must die. And as the prophets had died before him, he will not be here when that day comes. But he will send you one. He means God. Right? And he will tell you that truth that I can't tell you today. All praises to God. Your Bible is fulfilled. This is the one that he was talking about. This is your Bible's Elijah that will come just before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. To unite the children of God. It's in there like this. To turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children's hearts to their fathers. You are the children. And the fathers means your own nation in Asia and in Africa. And the only way that you can be joined or united with them, you must first have a knowledge of God. And you must have a knowledge of your people and their religion.